since I've been here for 40 years, I sort of built up a following of people who sort of get used to me, I suppose, and then keep coming. And as long as the patients coming, I said, why stop? Just keep on working. The same hours as I started, yeah. 5 full days, half Saturday. The only thing I've cut down is the house calls. It took a lot of decision. I think Dr. Krishnan around the corner was the pioneer. So he got into the computers, and then he told me, why don't I introduce you to the person, he'll come and set it up for you. So that way, and I sort of, he started it, and I said, I'll keep up with it. And I'm glad I did it. Yeah, that has changed the practice completely, because people from maybe Campbelltown or Blacktown, because there are a lot of the people. I'm a Tamil from Sri Lanka. In South India also there are a lot of Tamils. So they want somebody to speak their language. So they'll come all the way from there. So now with telehealth, so if they want a referral or a prescription, all they have to do is ring, and telehealth, I do it. I tell patients, instead of faxing it to the chemist, I'll put it on your mobile phone, you can take it. So they find that happier. And I hope it becomes a permanent feature, because unless they actually want to be examined, there's no point coming all the way just to get a script. It helps them. The other thing, before Proda, I used to ring Medicare for every Medicare number I wanted. That means about 20 minutes holding the phone. Now, in 2 minutes, I can do it on Proda. Singapore. I joined university in 1953, graduated in 58, and then went off to UK in 61, came back to Malaysia 63, and then 77 I came here. Had a short stay in Belgium in University of Ghent, and went to Edinburgh, studied for a higher degree, did pediatrics, and came back to Malaysia as a pediatrician, and then decided to migrate here, 77. But when I first came here, I applied for a few jobs, and all my references were from UK or Singapore, Malaysia. So the first question they'll ask is, do you have a local referee? I said, no, I'm just new here. Have you had local experience? No. So I tried a few things, and then it decided probably it's better just go on my own. So I got into general practice and been. From 77 when I came, I worked for a doctor in Granville for 6 months. Then I looked around for a place, and just round the corner where Dr. Krishnan was, I was looking for a place, and they said that surgery the doctor had committed suicide, so it's for sale. So I went and looked at it. They said, you need $40,000 goodwill. In those days, that was a lot of money. So I looked around, and there's a Greek real estate man came and said, do you think I could open a practice around here? He said, yeah, of course, I've got a place to rent. You can take it. I'm sure I'll help you to set you up. I know the council people. Get permission, and you can do it. So I said, yeah. And I asked my accountant. He said, look, start on your own. I'm sure within 6 months you will be all right. And I know a few doctors in this area, my clients. I'll talk to them and see. And he said, yeah, they all say there's a good place for her. And so I started walking that way and that way. There's no doctor on the whole of Burke Street, from the Harbour Bridge right up to Waterloo. And I remember the story by Somerset Maugham about the verger. So I said that I'll try my luck here. I'm a Tamil, born in Malaysia, so I speak Malay, which is same as Indonesian. And in Penang, it's a special type of Chinese dialect, Hokkien, which is different from all the other types of Chinese. And if you don't speak that language, the Chinese won't come to you as patients. So I had to learn that. And then when I was a child during the war, the Japanese occupied Malaysia, so I went to Japanese school in the morning. And afternoon, I went to Hindi, which is the North Indian language. So these are some. When I came here, I picked up not much, but medical, Turkish, Greek, Portuguese, very few words. Tamil, the problem is, only patients I can speak Tamil. I tried to teach Tamil to my children, my grandchildren, no success. Because they came when they were very young here, and so they only speak English. My grandfather migrated from Sri Lanka to Malaysia in the 1860s or 70s. And so he stayed there. He went back to marry, but my mother, his wife came back to Malaysia. My parents, my children, we were all Malaysians. As a houseman in Malaysia, we could only do blood tests for malaria, which was a common disease. And if I had to do anything else, liver function, kidney function, cholesterol, I had to ask the registrar. For x-rays, I could order an x-ray chest, but nothing more than that. And I had to ask the specialist or the registrar, and they would write the... Now, every day I write every type of test, blood test, all the MRI and the CT scans. In those days, we depended on our eyes and hands and feeling and history, talking to the patients. And most of our diagnosis was clinical. Like younger doctors don't seem to, straight away they order a whole lot of tests when they see the patient. They don't sit down, talk to the patient, find out the history, examine and do things. My classmates, I came, 6 of us from Singapore in the same class came here. One, she retired long ago, but she's busy with her grandchildren. Each of the others has passed away. The problem was that they all wanted to retire, have a good life, go cruising. And after a while, they sort of stopped doing all that, stay at home, watch TV, and the next thing they have dementia or something and they're gone. So one of the reasons I work is, first I love the work, and then it keeps me going.